Alright guys, how you doing? It's Rabea. Hope you're all doing very well indeed today. So this is another video brought to you in association with the wonderful people at Neural DSP, who have brought you many awesome plugins, and even now they've got actual hardware, which is the Quad Cortex, which is very exciting. But in this video we're going to be looking at a brand new plugin that they've worked on with a relatively new American amp brand called Powered by Omega Ampworks. They have a couple of different amp models I've seen. There's the Obsidian, which is a 2-channel amplifier, and then the Granophyre, which is the single-channel amplifier, and that's what this plugin is based on, is the Granophyre. So like all Neural DSP plugins, they claim that they're algorithmically perfect representations of any amps that they make, which, to be fair, they are very, very good, and I've done enough videos and used them enough to know that they really do sound and feel fantastic. So that's really cool, but there are some other very awesome features that are included in the plugin, which obviously you wouldn't get with the real amplifier because it's just an amp, whereas this is a plugin with loads of other stuff. So let's go over the new stuff. So one cool feature I've noticed with the plugin is you can select different power tubes. So you've got 6L6, EL34 or KT66. I'm assuming that's because the amplifier in real life can take those different tubes, maybe, or it has a combination of them, I'm not sure. But that's something really cool that's included in the plugin. The plugin also features the Powered by Omega cabinet, which features 12 IRs per microphone, and there are two, you've got quite a big drop-down list, which we'll go over when we do a screen grab. Of course, there's a drive pedal you can put in front, just like the other plugins, and this one in particular is the Earthquaker Devices Plumes drive, which has a couple of different modes, which is a bit different actually. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm excited to see what it sounds like. We've got the classic 9-band graphic EQ that you see across all the other plugins as well, which I really enjoy being able to use that and fine tweak the tone, so that's cool. Then in terms of the style of the amp, if you've never heard of them before, it's like I'd say it's a low to mid gain, and then of course quite high gain. It's a very aggressive amplifier in a lot of ways, but there's a voice switch which changes the kind of low end response, and there's a high and low gain switch which tightens it up or loosens it up depending on the style of gain and drive that you want. But all in all, it sounds like it's going to be a really cool plugin. As I said, I really liked the Nameless and the NTS ones they did with Fortin, and as this is just the amplifier with those extra features, it's really cool. So there is one thing to say, there is no effects part of this plugin. You've got there's no reverb or delay, you just have the drive in front. So I'm basically sending the signal from Logic out into my Universal Audio interface so that I can chain in some Capital Chambers reverb and delay for you to hear as well, to put it into context of what I like to do. But before we get into the tones, let's just quickly look at a screen grab of all the features and how it works, and then we will move on from there. Okay, so here's the screen grab of the plugin. Like all the other Neural DSP plugins, super sleek design. Really like the format and the platform, the way it works. And the graphic, of course, is of the amplifier itself. So as I said, this is the Granophyre single channel. So you've got 3-band EQ, you've got level of the channel, the voice switch, master, then you've got depth and detail, like, you know, resonance and presence, gain, and then your toggle switch between low and high gain. And down here you can see you've got your power tubes, 6L6, EL34 and KT66. One other thing to point out is that we now have the tuner, which is built in, which is sick. And of course that's been updated on a lot of the other plugins, but it's cool to see. And of course you can control this with MIDI interface and external MIDI foot switch if you want to use this, you know, in any kind of live application. Along the top, input level, gate, mono or stereo, oversampling, which is sort of detail depending on your CPU capabilities, your preset area and your output. And then of course, again, the symbols that represent, you know, pedals in front, amp head, graphic EQ and your cab sim area IR loader. So here we go, this is the Plumes from Earthquaker Devices. We've got 3 different modes which kind of change the response, maybe the clipping stage or the EQ bump, but that's quite nice. Level, gain and tone, so it's pretty much just an overdrive pedal, does the job. But then when we go back to the amplifier, I was just going to say that the voicing switch changes the sort of the Q of the mid-range. So when it's up, it's pushed to the upper mids, and when it's down, it's pushed to the lower mids. So you can definitely influence the kind of girth and response and articulation of this amplifier. Graphic EQ area, so this is cool. I love how it looks like a Microtubes amp with this cool symbol, which is the Powered by Omega logo. And then finally, we're into the cabinet area. So this is just like the other ones. We've got a drop-down menu of all the microphones. So you've got 57s, SM7B, Sennheiser E906, you got the 421. Yeah, basically loads of stuff. Love the Royal 121, which I've got actually engaged at the minute, and I'm blending that with the 57. And of course you can move between different positions and blend until you find something you like. And of course the best bit is that you're always tracking a DI, so you can come back and change the way this sounds post tracking. So that's really cool. But yeah, other than that, you can save your presets. You can actually, you know, load custom IRs if you want, and you can flip phase and blend and turn them on and off and stuff. But that would be pretty much the overview of the Powered by Omega Granophyre amplifier plugin from Neural DSP. Let's get into some tonage. I've sort of dialed in the kind of thing that I want to do in terms of the sound that I like. So this is the main heavy kind of rhythm tone that I've got. I'm using this amazing Music Man Sabre that I've got very briefly in my house for a bit while I demo it, so I'm going to use it. We'll start with the cab. This is what I've got set up. So 121 and a 57 using EL34 tubes. I've got a little bump of about a decibel at 4K, a little bit at 2K, a tiny bit at 1K, taking a bit of 250 out, and a little bit of 8K out, actually a couple of dB on 8K because it was getting a little bit of the fizzes. On the amp, I've pulled out some mid and bass, boosted the treble, voice switch is up, so it's an upper mid bump, and I've got quite a bit of gain on the high setting, and I'm not using the plumes currently, and this is what I've got. Excuse the noodles, but that's really nice liquid gain. Really good for lead. I guess what I'll do is back down the gain, and the first thing we'll do is show you the different power tube sounds. So this is the gain at halfway. Sounds immense. Okay. So this is 6L. So EL34, 6L6, and then KT66. So the KT66 is definitely more scooped, and you've still got that sort of top end, a bit like the 6L6 going on there. So it's really nice that you've got so many different options just in the power tubes, and it changes the amp sound that much. Next we'll look at the voice switch. So this is in the up position for the upper mids. If I flick it down, so it pulls out a bit more mid-range, so that would be really drastic on the KT66. But you can, boost the gain, pull a bit of mid out. Not really, but let's do the gain switch next. Got a bit carried away. Gain switch, this is, what I'll do is put it on mid and have it in the high gain position. This is what you've got. And if I flick it to the low position, it's a bit girthier and it's a little less aggressive at the very top. So it actually sounds really nice in the low, but if you boost the gain up a bit more. So now we'll try and get like a low gain sound with it. So what I'll do is I'll pull the gain down to say just above 9 o'clock. And it's still pretty powerful in the mids. So I'm going to pull down the voice switch and I'm going to go to 6L6 and go to position 2 like a single coil vibe. So you can kind of get a low gainish sound with it. It's just that you have to be a bit more drastic with what you set it at. And now what we'll try is the the plumes. So this is without it. And then we throw on the plumes. It's currently in mode 3. So it actually adds a nice amount of smooth mid-range. That's in mode 2, this is mode 1. So I actually prefer mode 1, to be honest. With the different microphones and stuff, let me show you what happens. We'll go to EL34. So the ribbon adds a lot of girth. If I turn it off, so this is before, and then off. You notice that it gets louder. I think that's to compensate, really, if anything else. But you can actually boost. I think it's more because I've actually got more level coming from the 57, but when they're combined, it takes it down. I just like what a ribbon mic does to the sound. It gives it way more power in the low end. It gives you a more roaring kind of sound. So that's what I like to do, is blend a 57 and normally a 1-2-1 ribbon. But yeah, that kind of pretty much covers it. We'll just have a quick look at the depth controls, the detail control. So let's go to a more conservative kind of sound. Take the plumes off. So this is our sort of main sound. Right, so let's pull the detail down first. And then we'll do with the depth. So this is with no, very little depth. There's a wonderful amount of low end power, like girth, to be honest, with those depth and detail controls. It's really good. To be honest, the way this amp sounds is I could track with this immediately and just be able to use it in a mix. I can already tell the way there's so much chord definition and it's a very smooth saturation that it would just sit really well in a mix. So I would actually like to make a track with this at some point and see how it sounds. I'm sure that will come to you guys at some point. But yeah, basically that is a look at the Powered by Omega Granophyre plugin from Neural DSP. I think it sounds fantastic, like all their plugins do, but I don't know, I like this one a lot. I like the fact you can change the power tubes and you can get quite a different feeling and sounding high gain tone with this plugin just by changing the voice switch and the power tubes. I think the plumes is cool. I like the fact you've got 3 modes on it, so you can definitely find that kind of overdrive into the front of this that you're looking for. And then again, like the IRs sound fantastic, and then having the graphic EQ, all of it just works really well together as one sort of product. So you know, Neural DSP never failed to impress as far as I'm concerned with the kind of plug-in guitar modeling that they're doing. So yeah, awesome. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think in the comments section below, and I'll put links to the Granophyre in there as well as other Neural DSP products. So anyway, like, subscribe and share. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.